There is a legend of a brave young warrior who lived to avenge his fellow fanboys. And there will come a day when there will be songs and poems of his heroic deeds. But for now, his work must continue. He is ERod. In a world of uncertainty, where movie theaters are plagued by remakes and sequels, in a world where big budget movies can still suck, in this world we have the Blockbuster Buster.
Greetings fanboys and fangirls, I'm ERod and I'm the Blockbuster Buster. Very few epic tales are as important as the poem of Beowulf. Considered to be one of the first mythical heroes, Beowulf's exploits were the first action-adventure story to ever be committed to paper and preserved. Beowulf has gone on to influence other great epics such as Arthur Pendragon, Lord of the Rings, and Star Wars. Now when I first heard that they were making this movie, I wasn't too excited because I had read the poem in high school. And as far as the poem goes, Beowulf fights 3 monsters. And that's it. There was just not enough content to make a movie out of. However, my interest peaked when I heard that this epic tale was being directed by Robert Zemeckis. Not only has Zemeckis directed some of my all-time favorite movies, but he has also directed some of the best films that I had ever seen, until now. Now for reasons that I can't explain, Zemeckis is now only making movies using capture motion technology. Now for those of you who don't know what this is, basically the actors are recorded in an empty stage, wearing capture motion suits, and only their movement and facial expressions are recorded. Then later, everything is replaced by computer animated avatars. Now if you like the way this looks, all the power to ya, but personally this animation style looks really unappealing to me. The characters look either really stiff or completely weightless, and for the most part they look like creepy expressionless dolls. So if you're wondering, yes, I have a sore throat and I am recovering from a really bad cold, so I had to give my crew and the rest of the cast of the show the day off to avoid getting them sick. But that's not gonna stop me from doing what I do best, so I implore thee to join me. And grab thy swords and join me for epic of epicness as I take on Beowulf. So our movie begins in Denmark, where a group of medieval folk are partying like it's 9.99. There we meet 3 of our leads, the perverted and drunk king, played by Anthony Hopkins, his dull and indifferent queen, played by Robin Wright, and his advisor, played by John Malkovich, who is taking a piss in the same hall that they're eating. There's a metaphor here somewhere. But apparently their hearty party wakes up the local monster, Grendel, and he rolls into the meat hall to break up the festivities, and that's Grendel? Are you shitting me? He looks like the fly in the burnt guy from Beetlejuice had a baby. Grendel is supposed to be a foul, demonic outcast conceived in your deepest nightmares. Here he looks like a brittle piece of dry wood. Nonetheless, Grendel goes on to massacre most of the partygoers, but not before firing up the strobe light. So after dismembering a few people who apparently are filled with cranberry sauce, Grendel jumps in the blue flame and disappears. Who taught him to do that, Maleficent? I love that woman. The king declares all parties and merriment to be forbidden, as they might attract Grendel, so they seal off the mead hall all the while they think of a solution to their dilemma.
What we need is a hero.
Well, that was convenient. So 15 minutes into the movie, we finally get to meet Beowulf. He sails epically, he swims epically, he talks epically, by taking dramatic pauses after every other word. He also, whoa! Oh, I forgot to mention, this movie was shot in 3D, and if it's in 3D, it has to be good. Fuck me. Beowulf visits the king and proclaims that he will slay Grendel. Everyone seems to accept his claims except for John Malkovich, who demands proof of his identity.
He risked his life and breakers to serve his own vanity and pride. A boastful fool.
What is the deal with all the dramatic pauses? Did you take acting lessons from William Shatner? And Beowulf hasn't made a facial expression in like 3 minutes. My god, the characters in He-Man were more expressive.
Good thinking, Battle Cat. We have to let her know we're here.
Beowulf goes on to prove his identity by telling a story. And really? Okay. So according to him, he lost a race to the world's fastest swimmer because he was attacked by giant one-eyed sea monsters. So, any more you'd care to pile on to this already hefty pile of bullshit? Get this, Beowulf claims that he single-handedly killed all the sea monsters and almost catched up to the race until he was stopped by and thus we find out Beowulf's only weakness. And no, it's not kryptonite and it's not the color yellow. It's, you know. So he lost a race because he was wrestling with one-eyed monsters and he was distracted by a woman. I wonder what Dr. Sigmund Freud would have to say about this.
Seem to be suffering from a mild form of hysteria.
Even though Beowulf is obviously full of shit, everyone believes him except for John Malkovich. So Beowulf goes on to deliver the following witty comeback.
They say you killed both your brothers when you witnessed them having knowledge of your mother.
Oh, no you didn't.
Sheep!
So, he's a liar and a bully. Wow, he's really starting to make Inspector Gadget look all the more appealing and competent. So Beowulf hopes to lure Grendel to him by partying in the mead hall with his men. Now this is one of the most famous parts of the poem, as Beowulf challenges Grendel to hand-to-hand combat, as he knows that no weapon forged can pierce Grendel's skin.
We shall fight as equals, and fate shall decide.
What? Why does he have to be naked? I know he wants to keep things even and not wear any armor because Grendel doesn't have any, but do underpants count as armor? Well, actually, now that I think about it, a lot of classic heroic portraits and statues are nude, so I probably should make fun of them for paying tribute to a classic art form. After all, it's not like they're gonna use that silly gag from Austin Powers and always have a strategically placed prop to cover up his bits and pieces. That is so silly. Yeah. Beowulf naps in the nude, all the while his men party, when suddenly... Okay, so we already established that Grendel cannot be hurt by swords. Now, in the poem, Beowulf goes on to defeat Grendel after he cuts off his arm, but the poem is very vague as to how he cuts off his arm, or even as to how he goes on to kill him. So I'm really curious as to how they're going to show this. So the demon, who's swordproof and fireproof, lost his arm to a door.
It's bullshit!
Oh, and the silliness doesn't end there. Before cutting off Grendel's arm with a door, he gives Grendel ample time to escape while delivering the following epic speech.
I am Ripper, Tearer, Slasher, Gouger.
If you think that was drawn out, you should hear the director's cut. I am the eater of sandwiches, the hugger of teddy bears, the peeler of bananas. I am Beowulf.
He's torn the limbs from the beast. Beowulf has killed him!
What? Since when? He just cut off his arm. How exactly would that kill a demon? Anybody? Please? Ah, fuck it. So Grendel's death doesn't sit too well with his mother, so she slaughters Beowulf's men in the night. This of course pisses off Beowulf, and you can tell that he's angry by the way he's mildly waving his arm in the air. Can't you tell that I'm angry? So Beowulf goes to face Grendel's mother and... Oh man, I'm gonna miss the 3D... forget it. So Beowulf goes on to fight Grendel's mother and wow. She can make herself look like Angelina Jolie. I wonder how they got her permission to use her likeness. It is Angelina Jolie! You know what? As a heterosexual male, I have to admit that I find the mere concept of a computer-animated replica of Angelina Jolie wearing nothing but gold paint to be quite appealing. But here's my issue with this. Angelina Jolie exists in real life! The cool thing about animation is that you can create anything that you want. If you want to create a girl that's too hot to be real, you can. But if the girl already exists, what is the point of recreating her on the computer? Guess what? That wasn't even her body. Zemeckis used a body double. It's just as pointless as remaking movies that were already good. Now this is my favorite part of the poem, as theirs is a fantastic battle that culminates with Beowulf cutting her head off with a magic sword.
Passionate, yeah.
Oh yeah, his weakness. This is so disappointing. He was supposed to defeat her with his sword, not with his... Oh, Dr. Freud?
Clearly indicating an unconscious desire to possess your own mother.
So Beowulf goes back to the meat hall and lies like the motherfucker that he literally is.
And when she followed, that's where I struck. With the mighty sword Runting.
Okay, there is no way that these people are stupid enough to fall for this bullshit.
And our people shall be grateful till the Ragnarok.
The king, however, knows he's full of shit, so he goes on to do the most sensible thing he can think of and kills himself and leaves Beowulf in charge.
What an idiot.
50 years pass, and Beowulf is bored because there are no more monsters to fight. During a huge battle, a lone warrior challenges Beowulf, but he intimidates the warrior into submission using a method that will be greatly imitated by wrestlers in the modern age. So Beowulf rules over Denmark now, and what? He's cheating on his wife? So he's a liar, a bully, and an adulterer. Wow, this guy makes Darkwing Duck look humble.
Photos? You'll never get a good shot from out there. Now go ahead, take it.
So it turns out that after Beowulf doinked Grendel's mother, they conceived a dragon. Yup, Beowulf conceived a dragon.
No wonder my loins are burning.
I guess he must have that super powerful Chuck Norris sperm.
I'm an American badass!
The dragon is terrorizing the local villagers, and it must be stopped, so damn, he's pretty spry for an old guy.
Yeah, I still got it.
The dragon desperately tries to shake off Beowulf, and even dives underwater to do so. And get this, Beowulf repels the dragon like this. Now I know a lot of you expect me to question as to how he magically suddenly got super strength, but I'm still baffled by the moment that happens next. Beowulf finds himself strategically in front of the dragon's soft spot, but he can't reach the dragon's heart with his sword, so he severs his own arm. And while hanging from the chainmail in his shirt, he still can't reach. But after he loses his sword, he can slowly reach in and
Finish him!
Now this raises a lot of questions, like for example, if he is hanging from the chainmail in his shirt, what exactly is the chainmail holding on to? And more importantly, if all he needed was some slack to reach forward, couldn't he have just, I don't know, put his feet at the bottom of the chain and arched his body forward to get the same effect? I mean, that could have at least saved himself an arm, you lying, cheating, bullying shit! Do you know who I am? I am the destroyer of DVDs, the buster of bad movies, the slayer of silly cinema. I am ERod! This movie's a silly sack of shit. I know some of you might want to argue that the animation looks good, but what you mean to say is that the backgrounds and the creature effects look good. But the human characters just don't look 100% good.
As silly as...
Your outfit?
I happen to feel muy macho, thank you very much.
Why is Beowulf such an asshole? He's not even a likable asshole like Dennis Leary. He's just a punk who desperately needs to get his ass kicked. Beowulf is about a great hero who fights and defeats 3 monsters. They fucked up the hero and they fucked up the climax to all 3 battles. So, I rest my case. So that's 1 busted, thousands more to go. I'm ERod, and I'm gonna go eat some chicken soup.
I'm blue.
fight, suckers!